Let's try this again, family. Let me know if you guys could hear me. Let me get some locations in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Right, it's your boy Skag here on behalf of the Profit Society, coming at you guys for the Sunday market preparation call. You guys should be able to hear me loud and clear now. I just kind of did a little bit of an intro, but hope you guys are feeling blessed. Give me just 1 minute here. We'll get everything started. Drop those locations in the chat for me. Feel free to send this link out to anybody you know that's going to be active in the markets this week. But let's get it, fam. Be with you in a minute. All right. Let's do that location check-in. Let's see where everybody is tuning in from. Good evening. Let's see. I see the chat is booming already. Let's see. We got that boy Tyson, Danny, Tammy. We got Jude up in the building. Where them Broadway girls? Yeah, we got on YouTube. We gotta be a little careful about what we play. We definitely vibe to some lo-fi. Let's see. Loving the tunes. Yeah, we got that. They got that lo-fi bumping. You guys already know. Let me see. We got that boy Alex in chat. Over out in Wisconsin. Pew, pew, pew. Let's go. We got Bahamas, Pakistan. Shout out to you all the way out in Pakistan. I don't even know what time it is for you. I do know it's either super late at night or super early in the morning. So definitely a shout out to you, my guy. Thank you for tuning in. We got more Wisconsin in the building. We got Texas, Atlanta, Brooklyn, San Diego / LA. Yeah, shout out to San Diego. I was actually just looking at maybe booking a trip out to San Diego. A little low key. I do love that San Diego, that Carlsbad area. Very beautiful out there. Houston family, what's going on? We got New Mexico, got Brooklyn, New York. Good evening, Kim. We got Bahamas. Checking in from Pawtucket. Love it. Vermont, let's go. Indiana. We got Georgia, Texas, Croatia. Yeah, right. Shout out to Pakistan for real. International out here. It's 7 a.m. from Pakistan. Okay. I see you. You just getting the morning started. Well, good evening here from South Carolina in the U.S. It's now 9 p.m. As you guys know, we do these Sunday market prep calls at this time and every single week. Let's see. We got that boy Devin in the building. We got Michigan. Come through to San Diego. Say less. I love it out there. Beautiful weather, beautiful scenery. You know, the LA people are up for personal interpretation. Squad, what's going on? Easy Pip Sniper. What's going on, family, though? I hope you guys are feeling good. Let's get this week started off great. As you guys know, we start every single week looking at the fundamental events. The whole goal of this call is to, again, give you guys fundamental expectations of what to expect in the Forex, stock, and crypto markets, as well as just areas of liquidity and potential trades that we're going to be looking at. Of course, keeping in mind it is Sunday, so we can only forecast so far ahead, but it is going to be a packed week of news. So expect a lot of volatility. We do have a lot to go over. I'm going to turn down this music just a little bit in case it's too loud on your guys' side. But let's just take a look because, like I said, it is going to be a busy week. So just to kind of kickstart what Tuesday is going to look like, because on Monday we don't have too much that we're concerned about. But going into Tuesday, we will have GDP out there for the Eurozone. We'll have it for, Italy. We have it, believe, for France there. We have it for Germany and just overall the Eurozone in general on Tuesday. So big day on Tuesday. We will get some GDP numbers from that Eurozone. On Wednesday, we're looking at inflation rates, again, for that same Eurozone. Widely expected. It actually looks like forecast may have been adjusted. Is now forecasting 9.1 over here. I'm actually going to, real quick, guys, I'm just going to pop over to investing.com because I'm pretty sure this was forecasted to come out higher than 9.1. So I just want to see if it's a calendar difference or if maybe this actually got switched. So it did get switched. So last week we did take a peek at the calendar going forward, and this was actually forecasted to come out at 9.7. And we talked about the impact of that, but it has seemingly been adjusted down to 9.1, which is still high, don't get me wrong. They're still going to be experiencing this high, above 9% inflation is what they're expecting. I would be surprised if this comes out below 9%. Honestly, with what the forecast was last week, I'm thinking even this number might be a little low, but we'll take a look to see if maybe potentially they're hitting a plateau out there if we don't rise. So interesting adjustment to note here. Again, this inflation number will be a big part of what the ECB looks to go forward in terms of doing rates. And speaking of rates, on this same Wednesday, we will have the federal interest rate decision. And again, this is what is the forecast? What is up with these forecasts? This is forecasting on our end a 4.625% rate. which is an interesting forecast. What's that, 12 and a half basis points, which is a weird forecast. Yeah, well, I mean, either way, the market is forecasting that we're going down to a 25 basis point decision. And we've kind of discussed this. This is in alignment with, our thoughts on rates, right? As the Fed looks to get less and less aggressive, this will be the first time that they are looking to do a potential decrease in the amount that they increase rates by, right? Just to be clear, rates are expected to go higher. They're just not expected to go higher in the sense of how much they're increasing it by, right? That actual threshold of 50 basis points. So if we do get this 25, at that point, the whole question is going to be, well, the only thing they could do now is completely pause increasing rates, which again is going to give a lot of more fuel to the fire of this kind of bearish dollar, bullish indices, crypto, and other things that we've been kind of looking at these past couple weeks and months. So interesting that our calendar is actually forecasting a sub 25% hike. That I don't know why it's doing that or where it's necessarily pulling that data from, because that's a little odd if you ask me. But nonetheless, we are looking at less than 50. Just to kind of continue through some of the news, on Thursday we also have interest rates for the ECB as well as the BOE. So we have it for the Eurozone and we have it for the pound, right? So we have 3 sets of interest rates coming out across 2 different days. And on the day that the Fed does rates, you also have employment numbers. So like I said, it's going to be a high volatility week. Now, on the other side of things, you do have the ECB, which is going to look to go from a 2.5 to a 3%. So they're looking at a 50 basis point hike. And then you also have the Bank of England, which is looking to go from 3.5 to potentially 4%. Both of these are going to be higher than what the Fed is doing, right? Because the Fed is widely expected, again, to do potentially 25, although this would be the first 25 that they do. And when we have this, we know the ECB, again, they're trying to tackle this inflation number, right? They're trying to tackle their CPI of 9%. Over here in the U.S., we've been blessed to kind of get back below that 6%, 5% range, and continuingly to decline. So, again, these guys are going to get a little bit more aggressive to try to kind of close this interest rate gap, so to speak, which is, again, why I will ultimately continue to lean bullish things like EU, GU, as we expect these fundamental shifts to kind of happen. And then on Friday, we have, as people know, my favorite news event, and that's sarcasm, because I will not be paying attention to this at all, but we do have NFP, right? The first Friday of the month, we always have NFP. I think a lot of the volatility of the markets will have already been passed. All this other news that's coming out throughout the week is way more high impact than this. You might get some pullbacks if there's a shock number or something. They might use this as like exit liquidity. But by Friday, to be honest, after the week that we have lined up for us, I'm not really going to be looking too deep into what NFP is specifically going to be doing. But shout out to those NFP traders. I know there are people that love this event. Let's take a look at chat. I also see that we got the boy Abel on. Abel, bro, do you have any thoughts on the news for this week? Because the calendar is absolutely packed, my man. I don't know if you're there with us that you can unmute, but you should be able to.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back to using my one mic, so I might have to yell so you guys can hear me. But one thing that I do know is just going to be a very, very, very busy week this week, family, with numerous different central banks going through interest rate decisions. I'm just excited to actually go ahead and trade this week, man. I'm feeling really good. I think it's going to be a record week for a lot of us, no lie.
I'm happy you say that, because I actually look to sit on the sideline, so hopefully I can sit back, take some signals, and kind of see what you guys see. But there's a lot of big impact news, guys. You guys know me on the macro side. I kind of want to see what this stuff comes out as. And, if you guys have been here and you're not new to the channel, and if you are, welcome. We love you. We appreciate you for tuning in, clicking on our little stream here. But for those of you that have been around, you guys know I've pretty much positioned myself, for the expectation of what we have here. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what the market gives. Again, there's going to be a lot of volatility, a lot of opportunity for people that are not in to potentially get in and really kind of play this long-term fundamentals. Let me just see what we got in chat here. I see that we got somebody who prefers to get muted from the chat, which is all good. NFP, Alex, you big fan of NFP, my guy. I'll be taking the Friday off as I always do. I call that a personal day. I put my PTO in for NFP, so I definitely won't be around. But let's jump into some charts, guys. There are a few things that we want to take a look at. Obviously, we'll take a look at things like the dollar. What you're seeing here is an Ethereum trade that we took over the weekend. We actually took this on Saturday inside of the Profit Society Premium community. So shout out to those of you guys that are holding this trade with me. Again, this is another one that we wanted to get in before the interest rate news later this week, because again, if the Fed does come out with 25 basis point hike and look to pause, we should see some nice rallies across the board, and this was an opportunity that we were able to capitalize on over the weekend. But let's go take a look at the DXY, because I know this is what's going to be most people are going to probably be looking at, just to get an overall view. I know Abel probably also has some potential DXY thoughts. So just taking a look at this again, I continue to expect this to kind of come and grab the liquidity below this low that we formed all the way back in May of 2022. We've been kind of just riding out this really kind of just choppy continuation market, right? We haven't really been trending too nice. It has been a pretty painful last 2 weeks or so, actually whole like last month, basically since the year started. We've been pretty choppy here at these lows or highs on certain pairs. But I do believe, again, with the news this week, there will be opportunity for us to finally grab the liquidity below here. I'm probably not going to expect too much of a reaction, pending what this news is. Again, it's widely expected, again, to continue bearish for the dollar. So I'm not going to really be looking for anything like this. Again, if we get something like this and we close back above, we'll adjust and see if maybe there's some short-term strength coming in. But I think more realistically than anything, this kind of falls and plays with like deeper liquidity ideas, like below these lows here. It would be nice to see a nice move down to maybe below this 100 level. And I think it's just more logical for some demand to come in down here rather than where we are on a big news week. Again, news could be also, as some people say, the excuse or the reason to finally grab this liquidity, shake out people before going the other way. Again, we'll see if the data supports that. I would like to see it, but it's not something I'm going to bet on too much. There's not really too much else to say about the dollar. I mean, even if you go to lower time frames, this idea really just doesn't change. Again, there's nothing on any of these lows that signify that, to me, we're going to continue higher. The idea that you filled this wick and you're getting a little bit of demand and you're starting to create liquidity above here, okay, yeah, maybe it has like enough fuel to kind of come up and play, like this high. But again, not stuff that I'm going to be particularly looking at, because as we move closer to Wednesday, again, I just want to see what the longer term ideas are, and if I do need to make, any sudden adjustments to my swings. So that's what I see in the DXY. Abel, I don't know if you have any thoughts that you want to potentially share before we go too far. And Ray, welcome to the call, my guy. Hope you're doing good. If you want to say hi to the stream, you're more than welcome to.
Family, what's good? I just got home, so sorry for my tardiness. But I'm super excited for this week, man. Y'all ready to win and not pretend? You know what it is. Let's get right this week. Let's get rich. That's all I got, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Abel, do you have any thoughts on the DXY you wanted to share in terms of charts? If not, you guys know we'll go into some Forex pairs. So you guys can start to drop some stuff you guys want to see us analyze for the week in the chat.
Yeah, I got something. I'll share my screen real quick, just to give them a quick look at what I'm personally going to be looking at going into this week. So let me just go ahead and delete some of this stuff real quick. And I mean, this is what I'm thinking, guys, for the bias for this week for the dollar could potentially be. I'm still thinking some more bearishness. I'm definitely leaning more side, at least for right now, guys, more continuations to the downside is what I would be personally looking for. I would love to personally be able to see price make it into or below this 101-200 level. Once we get a sweep of that 101-200, family, then I think that we should be start to look for a rebound in this market, right? Some type of a pullback up, some type of strength to come in for the dollar itself, right? But overall, it's really going to depend on if we're able to go ahead and see this market come down below that level. Because I don't know. For me, I just think there's probably going to be a lot of demand that does come back in under this 101.2 level. So I'm still bearish. I'm going to be looking for continuation to the downside, personally speaking, until we're able to go ahead and clear this 101.2. All right. Once we clear 101.2, then I'll start to consider potential, moves to go ahead and start capturing a lot of this liquidity that's been built up to the upside overall, family. But that's just what I'm looking for personally from the dollar perspective. Obviously, a lot of things can change. Like we said, it is a heavy week, guys, with full of news. Obviously, depending on what comes out with, interest rate decision over here for the Fed, that can definitely go ahead and shake, this market up around overall. But for me personally, again, I'm just sticking with sell side opportunities here for the dollar overall, right? But that's all I got, Skags, for the dollar itself.
Yeah, I'm interested again to see that same thing. I don't want to bet too hard on it rebounding after we clear that liquidity, but I am with you. If we do see some nice reactions off of that, I would be, interested. I'm just not gonna bet on it, but it wouldn't also surprise me. But I think if they say anything about pausing rates, like pausing hikes altogether, we might just slip a little further than expected. But yeah, man, I just definitely in alignment with you. It also looks like a lot of the thoughts that you had, personally, that I also kind of agreed with during the, trading week last week inside of the live trading sessions were like that, just, not being able to kind of sustain any demand and ultimately falling is right on board. So yeah, you've been pretty on spot with that since last trading week. There are a few pair requests. I don't know if you want to start with some of those before we keep switching screen, but there is things like gold, GJ, a few of the common things that we're looking at. So if you have anything in particular, we could take a look at that too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't mind giving my thoughts real quick on gold. I'll take a quick look at that, and then I'll allow you guys to go ahead and do your thing with GJ and so on. But for gold itself, guys, in fact, I want to go ahead and just give you guys a fresh, clean start, clean look here on gold, just to give you guys my perspective on it itself. And I want to go ahead and just literally start off, guys, from top to bottom with this, right? So overall, daily time frame, what do we see? I mean, overall, the market has been extremely bullish lately. Ever since September, October, when we bottomed out over here, guys, we just had a lot of strength come into this market for gold. And it's not until recently where we're starting to see a little bit more of an aggressive pause in the market overall. But overall, guys, the order flow has definitely been continuously bullish. Now let's go ahead and look to the left. All right, we see this nice strong run up. All right, but now the market is getting very choppy up at these levels. Why is that? All right, let's start to look to the left. All right, do we have anything to the left? Any type of structure? Any type of patterns that you might be able to identify that could be justifying a slowdown or even just an overall reversal in this market overall. All right, so that's like one of the first things that I do, guys, right? I identify the order flow, I identify where the momentum is, but then I also like to look to the left, right, and try to identify key levels of supply and demand, key levels of structure, as levels where I can potentially expect a reaction from. All right, now looking at this thing again, I am on the daily, right? So this is a higher time frame, guys. But just looking to the left on the daily, we clearly have, this level of supply up here. We also have this little pause right here as well that was created, which is where the market is pretty much testing right now. And then we have the little gap in between, right? We have this little gap, guys, right above this little order block flow looking thing right here that we have. So that's why for me, I think that we have enough liquidity that's going to be building up above this level right here, above this 1959.5 level, to where I would believe that we're probably going to want to push up into there before we see any type of a major pullback, if we do see a major pullback, right? That is if we see one. We don't necessarily have to see one. But if I was going to be looking for that overall bigger reversal here on gold, obviously it could happen right from here. It very well could, because we are technically still inside of a level of structure. But I'm just looking at the overall liquidity pocket as a whole. All right. We do have this area, this pocket of liquidity, guys, it's just trapped between these two levels of supply and demand. And I think the market might want to go ahead and reach into there before we see anything, right? So my guess, personally speaking, I would probably like to see the market clear this 1952. And then from there, we, again, if we are going to go short, that can be an opportunity. But for the start of this week, I'm probably going to be looking for opportunities to go ahead and go long on this thing. Let's go start going lower time frame and see what we got here. Just to see where we're at, seeing structure, guys. Because as you go lower time frame, you'll start to see the structure start to give you clues and ideas if this thing is starting to shift. And as we come to this lower time frame, guys, we are starting to see the market slow down, like I mentioned overall. But in the process of slowing down, we're still creating higher highs and higher lows. We create this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And we're pretty much just testing this entire area of supply or demand down here, right? But we're still creating them levels of, higher highs and higher low structure points, guys. So overall, I mean, again, the flow is still a little bit more to the upside still, right? So even on these lower time frames, we're still identifying bullish structure. So that's just pretty much lining with my thoughts and belief that we might actually reach up into this liquidity pocket up here. All right, let me go ahead and just drop a little dollar sign so you guys can see where I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about all the way up here, guys, right? Above this 1954 level. Okay, this entire area, in my opinion, is probably just flittered with a bunch of liquidity that we can go ahead and target. Now, the next thing is, though, all right, Abel, I get that, right? So how can we get involved? If we are going to continue to seek new highs, how can we go ahead and get involved? Well, just go ahead and look back at our key levels of structure, right? Our key levels of supply and demand. All right. So if I'm looking at this area, guys, I'm looking at where the move actually initially started, right? Which is probably going to be down here at these lower levels, right? This is really, again, the move that ended up causing the break of structure, right? That ended up causing the market to continue to break structure and continue to go to the upside. So I'm really liking this general area down here, right? So if we are able to go ahead and see price come to this 19, I would say below this 1911 level, right? Clears all these wicks that we have left behind. Once we're able to go ahead and clear those wicks, guys, get into this 1910. I would really start to look for some opportunities to go ahead and go bullish on this, right? I think is a very good possibility. Now, if the market just shifts completely, right, and we go ahead and we run, below 1900, see, then at that point, we might have to just consider this and go ahead and start in that deeper correction. A lot sooner than I would have thought, right? But overall, that's just my thought process here on gold. I'm definitely going to be more so, and this is just me personally. I don't know how anybody else is feeling, but I'm going to be a buyer, guys, below this 1910 level. If we're able to get below 1910, I think a lot of demand should come back in the market, and that can go ahead and send us into these higher levels. Go ahead and grab a lot of this liquidity that's being left behind. All right, so that's just my thought process on gold, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be looking for to see. But I am going to be reactive, right? Depending on how price plays off some of these key levels, some of these supply and demand zones. I'll just react to the market, right? Just react, and just manage my risk accordingly for that purpose. All right, but that's what I got, Skags.
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement there, bro. I don't even have really too many additional thoughts to throw on top of that. I mean, I will show you guys again just my variations of the same levels, not to bore you guys again with the same analysis. He definitely went top down, but again, if I'm going to look at the daily, you guys can kind of see the same levels that I'm looking at, right, that he kind of discussed over here at the 1958 level. Again, you guys know, again, if you study the way that I trade, this is called a continuation block. We look for a kind of sweep of that, and then we know this is kind of a high probability area where supply can come in. Doesn't always mean that it happens. Again, if the news is strong enough, you could blow right through here, especially coming up and filling some of this wick. But it is a high probability zone that if we do see a reaction off here, you can maybe, fade the market. And, as much as I am bullish gold, I would like to see a pullback. At some point, I do want to see this stuff kind of fade off. And again, this is the most logical place. So I'm really in agreement. Again, even with the lower time frames, like, yeah, obviously we want to see all these wicks taken out, give us better demand. And if it doesn't give it to us, then so be it. We'll watch what it does up at this level here. The only other thing that I have to look at is GJ. And then if Ray has any thoughts on gold or GJ or any pairs he's looking at, I definitely want to hear those. But GJ is one that we've been talking about we talk about this all the time, but in regards to the setup that we're looking at now, it's something we've been talking about for about a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks at this point, from whenever this was. So, yeah, about 2 weeks. Still looking at like 162, 40 areas for potential sells. Again, above some of the liquidity that's kind of been built up here for some time. Again, there's been no reason since, we've kind of erased this spike for us to be looking at sells. We threw that idea away since, this liquidity grab ultimately didn't work. And yeah, now we're just waiting for the next logical place. And again, if I'm going to look at this from like a higher time frame understanding, it's again, I'm still targeting below this old range of 150, right? Really, I still believe in the prophecy of below 150 on GJ, and that's something that we've been playing, for a while now. I mean, we formulated these ideas very long ago, started playing it up here. I have shorts in 169. And it might be time, again, this week with all the volatility that we can potentially grab, an entry in this extreme supply. And if it holds, we can have a good swing trade. If it doesn't, we might take a loss of, 30, 40 pips, whatever it is. I probably won't lose more than 1.5%, if I do take a stab or two at this. So it's definitely worth the risk for me. So this is what I'll be looking at on GJ. Again, we've kind of went over this like 2, maybe even 3 Sundays in a row now. So I'm not really going to, bore your ear off with it. That's the only thing I see on this. There's just no other setup. These are not highs that I think will hold. And ultimately, yeah, we're waiting just to see if we can grab something like this. The risk is all going to be dependent on the action that actually happens up here. But again, we're probably not going to risk more than like 60 pips at like the absolute most. And that's if I'm being really degenerate with my entry and I don't really have any shorter time frame confirmations and I'm just kind of scaling in. Because again, this is like a swing for me. So, yeah, so that's what I'm looking at on GJ. There's nothing else that interests me. The weekly open was kind of interesting. I'll give you guys that. It definitely opened up, down pretty strong. I know there's a few premium members that are in the trade with that boy Easy Pip Sniper, I believe. I think Eric's in it. Yeah, shout out to the people that are trading GJ, the boy Celtics Nation, right? Shout out to all you guys that are actually long on GJ inside of the premium chat. I think they took it on Friday inside of this area somewhere. So good on them. They survived the open, which could have been a little bit, dangerous, but, proud of them. They took the risk regardless. And yeah, hopefully they can get that buy up to that 162. But other than that, I probably wouldn't be touching buys. I wouldn't be looking to get into this. You could maybe say, maybe it'll come back to like this 1 hour CB and you could play it inside of here. Assuming maybe that the weekly open holds. You could try something like this, but I don't know. I would just, I'm personally, all I care about is this sell because this is, I'm looking at, this is over 1,000 pips. Yeah, another 1,500 pips potentially on top of the 1,000 or the 700, 800 I'm already up. So, yeah, that's what I look at on GJ. Please don't miss this trade. This is like, this is the one, right? If you've been stalking GJ, this is the, it's getting close to push the button time. Push the button, walk away, come back in a few weeks type stuff. But yeah, that's all I see on this. I don't know if you guys want to go over what you guys see, if you guys have anything different. I do know some people think GJ is a little bit stronger than I do, and the yen is, kind of doomed. But I have faith. My faith remains strong, family. That's all I'll say. But if not, Ray, if you have any pairs that you want to go over, any setups you're looking at, I know you like to push the button on Sunday. But if not, any liquidity you're looking to hunt for the week, if you can just let the family know kind of what you're looking at, that'd be great too.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. A little bit of both. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen if you make me co-host real quick. Thank you. So I do see some things. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm sharing. Hold on. Now I did see somebody in the chat, the live chat, asked for GU. So I will go over that real quick. Although I'm not actively taking any more trades on it, I'm still in my trade from 2424 up here. But I do have anticipation on this actually dropping lower. All right. So this is very weird price action. It is very, very choppy in my opinion. But at the same time, if we're just paying attention to what we need to pay attention to, we do have a high here. The market does put in a new low. We're making a lower high here, and the market is still seeking for that lower low. So I do believe that the market does need to trend a little bit lower. And even if it doesn't hit my overall target, I do believe we'll at least come down to 2333 to fill in this very small liquidity pocket there. So I'm still holding shorts, right? Now, with that, I'd rather take a look. If I want to like give y'all something to actually execute on, I'm leaning more towards Euro USD. Now, if I start from the top down, I'll be honest, I don't think these are the strongest highs in the world, right? Like when I look at these highs, I don't think these are necessarily highs that's going to cause the market to, drop this low or anything like that. However, I do believe we'll get some sales just because the lower time frame structure and the lower time frame order flow. So with that, if we just come down to, the 30-minute, we see that we have highs that are taking liquidity, lows that are creating liquidity. All right. So just understanding that, I do believe that we'll push down again, down into this double bottom here, where we have relative equal lows. All right. So where we do have these relative equal lows, and we can potentially come down here for this sell to buy candle, because this is an area that actually takes liquidity, as we can see here, and then reverses and makes a new high. All right. So that would mean that this is somewhat of a demand zone, because this is a sell to buy that breaks this previous high here and makes a new high here. All right. So just understanding that this is something that I'm personally interested in. Looking at a sell right here, down to a potential buy. Just because I do have supply currently in control on the lower time frame, but I do have demand and control on the higher time frame. This will probably be a trade that I'll wait for a reaction, and then I'll take, the first higher low opportunity that I get. All right, because I do just want that confirmation here that demand is actually retaking control. All right. So this is something that I'm personally looking at. If we come down a little bit lower to say the 5-minute, you can see a little bit more of what it is that I'm actually looking at. So obviously here we do sweep highs, which is always a good thing that we want to see. So we do take these highs, and then we proceed to make a new low. All right. So just understanding that, now I can come analyze these wicks. So we have a push down, we come back, test that candle, we push down, come back, test that candle, we push down, push up, we test this candle. This is the last candle that has not been tested. So if I want to refine my point of interest, and when I say tested, I mean how this gets tested. Like each candle has a wick that comes back to, test the majority of it. Now this one here, for example, we sweep this previous candle, then we put in a new low, but we never actually come back to test that candle. So we do have this area of inefficiency right here that I do see potentially, giving us an opportunity. So even here on the 3-minute, it actually looks way better on the 3-minute personally, in my opinion. So I'll be looking at 0.885. That's perfect for me, because I like those round numbers, like that they end in 0, end in 5. These are the type of numbers that I like personally. So I would take this at 1.0885. All right. With about a, we just do like a 9-pip stop. Honestly, if you feeling yourself, you could probably go with a 6-pip stop or so. And it does make a difference when you're dealing with anything like 10 pips and under. if you can take your stop loss from 10 to 5 pips, you can double your lot size. So, believe it or not, 9 and 6 is a decent difference. You know what I'm saying? But if you just want to play it safe, go ahead, risk 9 pips. Target this first low, the equal low at 0.835. That'll be 1 to 5 right there, 1 to 5.5. And then lastly, and I may leave a little bit left on after this just in case this level doesn't want to hold up. But this will be this low here before the sell to buy candle. This would be where I'm looking to close out majority of my profits. All right. So this is just something that I'm paying attention to. And I mean, super simple, guys, when you really look at it. One thing I want y'all to understand is that, although we trade, advanced concepts, it's pretty simple. Like once you really truly get used to it, because it's all market structure at the end of the day, right? Like we have a high here. We break this low to make a new low. So that means that this is a lower high here, and then we're putting in this lower low here. So, you know what your trading range is. So now that I know what my trading range is, that's my high, that's my low of the trading range. Now I retrace up into an area of inefficient price within the trading range, also taking out all of these weak highs that are going to be used as internal range liquidity, okay? All of these false highs. And then once I take them all out, I take all the pockets of liquidity that's resting. Now I've gathered the fuel and the strength for this move here to potentially happen, all right? So pretty simple in my opinion, but I just want to give you guys more of an in-depth breakdown on that particular chart. All right. So that's Euro USD for me. So far as Euro AUD, this is a pair that I like to trade, but I feel like it has to come down a little bit more. It may or may not. I'll sit on my hands on that. So far we got Euro USD. That's a beautiful setup, but I missed it unfortunately. Euro JPY has some potential in my opinion. We would like to come take out that false sell right there, okay? We do have these weak lows that are forming, okay, underneath. None of these lows have that much strength involved. So in my opinion, the market wants to go a little bit lower, all right? Now, in order to go lower, we should come and take these highs, push into this inefficiency up here. It's not much of an inefficiency. It's really more of just a buy to sell area right here, right? So you got slight inefficiency on the 15-minute. You probably got to go down 15 or the 5 just to see it clearly. So you can see it a little better here, okay? So at about 142.02, I feel like that'd probably be a decent place to look for an opportunity. And I don't trade, yen pairs that often, but I do see a little something there. I did see somebody ask for UJ as well. I'm still in UJ from down here. So not sure where my markup went. Probably on one of these other so yeah, I'm still in UJ, just hoping that it goes bullish. Now I know that's probably a little strange considering that I think we could potentially take some shorts on Euro JPY. So, don't hold me to the Euro JPY. Like I said, I don't trade yen pairs that much. I'm just trying to give y'all something y'all can end the day with. But for the people that's still asking about UJ, like I've been long on UJ. Like this is actually a pretty decent amount of time for me to hold a trade. I have held trades way longer than this, but when it comes to like currency pairs, for example, like typically I don't hold that long. But this is looking a little pretty good for me. Um, Very interesting price action in my opinion. I feel like just about anything can happen here because we do have, liquidity resting here. We also have some resting here. We also sweep some liquidity here. So I could see the potential for us going up, then down, then potentially up again. Now I know that looks crazy, but just think with me for a sec, because here we also have, for my people that know how I use the hezi, right? We do sweep lows here, hesitate, crossover bullish. We take the highs, which means, okay, bet you look at this as a low making a new high, but you could also look at this as a high making a new low. Like it's kind of in this range where it's almost difficult to tell. So some people would consider this a sweep of the highs and then we break structure to make a new low. And that's probably where it's more or less heading. But just considering what I see here, when the market is creating these weak lows, typically, it'll take those, but then I don't like to necessarily see all this demand right here. So, if I didn't see this demand right here, I would just say definitely it's going to fall off a cliff. But considering that I do see demand here, I do see a chance for us to come up into that, buy the sell candle, react, drop, and potentially reverse bullish again for my final target on USD JPY. All right. So it's going to be a mess for today, probably. If you feel like you have to trade, I would trade either above these highs or below these lows. I can't tell you for sure which one is going to happen first. And that's why I gave you, more than one scenario, because if I get above these highs and I tap into, this supply zone up here, I'll probably be more likely to sell if I get the reaction that I'm looking for. But then in the same breath, if I take these lows here and I start getting a reaction in this area, that I could, play with or something like that, like where we sweep lows and then come into a higher low area, that will probably be the move that I personally want to take. All right. So that's something that I'm personally looking for right there. And again, I know a lot of times we say wicks equal demand, right? Or wicks is liquidity. Now, I feel like there's a difference between wicks and just like a very long single wick. Like when you see something like very long and it's just by itself, it's a sell to buy on the lower time frame. So this right here, this was the same candle that looked like a wick on the other time frame, right? But on this time frame, it's a V-shaped recovery. So when we see V-shaped areas, right, these a lot of times are areas that will get respected. We also have a hezi crossover for the people that don't know. This is supply. All right. So if you know, you know. But we take lows and then we push up higher. All right. So this being an area, we also got all this inefficiency here. So I can see this all being inducement, right? Because when you see weak lows above a demand zone, right? Like weak lows above an area that you may want to take trades from, that's more than likely the right move, right? Like almost all the time. Like this sets up the same so many times, right? Where you see the market going bullish, you've got a strong low, right? And then you have all these weak lows above it. And the reason why they have to create those weak lows again is because they're building liquidity, right? Every time the market, bounces off of support or bounces off of a trend line, you got to think that there's more and more people that's buying this trade and putting their stop losses beneath this area. All right. So the more people that buy and adjust their stop loss, that means that this pocket of money here just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The more people buy, the bigger the pocket of money gets. So if the pocket of money is down here and institutions know that they can finesse you out of your bread, so that way they could take the opposite side of the trade and put that money in their pocket, it's in the best interest for them to come and take that liquidity out and then return bullish. All right. So I hope that was able to understand that. So that's my analysis on USD JPY. All right. Let me check the chat real quick. I just want to make sure. Oil, can't mess with that. Raise chart so clean. Shout out to Cody, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, bro. USD CAD. I'm gonna let Kyle go ahead and handle that because I know Kyle, that's Kyle's main piece, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let him go ahead and hold that down. But I played around with USD CAD, it did me well, but now I ain't messing with it no more because like these parts are pretty foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in foreign land messing with USD CAD. So it worked out. But I ain't messing with it no more. I'll take one more peek because I know I kind of just took over the stream here. Yo, this trade was crazy, man. I shouldn't have closed that. I closed that when I got it to this area up here because I thought maybe I'd get a reaction. But if I would have kept holding, that would have been a banger. Sheesh. Euro AUD was crazy. Then I missed the sell like an idiot. Yeah, so I ain't got too much, y'all. Let's just kick the week off with Euro USD and gold. I really did like gold, so shout out to y'all for marking up that gold. Like I said, I'm still in GU as well. So if y'all could find something, let the market go back down, so be it. It is moving slow. It's moving a little weird. We'll see. But again, just before I go ahead and pass it, this is what I'm personally looking for on Euro USD. All right. So I don't know if anybody had anything they want to add to that, but that's how I'm kicking this week off. Nice little 1 to 7 loading up possibly. So let's have a great week, family. Let's have a great week. Any other comments, questions, concerns for me just before I go ahead and pass it on? Euro AUD. I think I just took a look at that. I'll let maybe one of the other guys take a look at it. But for me, I don't see a trade that's really possible at this second. There's nothing that sticks out to me right at this moment. So, I feel like this market probably got to go bullish for a little while before I could take a sell on it, or it's going to have to take these lows out because really I had it coming down some more. I had it coming down to this point of interest at like 5225. All right. So 5225 for Euro AUD is where I would be looking to get some action, but it's booming right now. So it's like, who knows? And we may not get that. So maybe one of the other guys got something they want to share on Euro AUD, but for me, it's just Euro USD right now. All right. So hope y'all was able to take some value from that. And I'll just be here listening to what the guys got. But that's all I got. All right. Explain the stop loss amount we should be taking for EU. 9 pips, bro. 9 pips. I'm putting my stop loss at 0.894. If you scary, put it at 0.897 for 12 pips. That clears all of the highs. All right. So some people scary, put your stop loss above the whole high right there. But if you, as Skaggs would say, a degenerate, you can go ahead and use these lower time frame highs for your stop loss. And now we got like a 6 pip stop loss. So remember what I told y'all before, the difference between 12 pips is 6 pips is you doubling your lot size, okay? And still risking the same amount of money. So with that being said, you know, you could take this right here. You could take this right here with, say, a standard lot, right? Just throwing an example out there. Or you could take this up here with a 0.5 and you'll be risking the same amount of money. So that's why, you know, those lower time frames, they can be very beneficial if you know how to use them, right? But yeah, man, that's all I got. I don't know if anybody else wants to go ahead and take the floor, but that'll pretty much be everything for me that I'm taking today, at least.
Yes, sir. Listen, let me get some threes in the chat for this boy Ray, because he dropped a lot of nice setups. I do like that, the potential for that EU, especially on the lower time frames where we're looking at the same kind of idea on gold and stuff like that. So, and I definitely agree with you, bro, on that whole, like, there's a big difference between 9 pips and 3 pips. That's a 30% difference in your stop. Now, whether you use that like Ray uses that to either increase the lot size and risk the same money, or just use it as an opportunity to risk less money overall, you know, it's really up to you guys. But yeah, if you really refine your entries, you could actually do a lot in terms of additional risk. I did see somebody wanted me to go over oil, so I will do that. I also know that we have Kyle on the call. Kyle, I don't know if you want to say what's up to the stream since you're a little late here, but if you wanted to chime in real quick, you're more than welcome to, my guy. And then we'll be happy for you to share some charts as well.
Yo, what's good, family? How y'all feeling, man? Honestly, like Skag said, I literally just got home, so I'm ready to run it up on the stream with you guys. Honestly, shout out to the boys, Abel, Skag, and Ray. They've been dropping massive value over the past hour for you guys on the stream. So the least we could do is just show some love on the likes, family. It's free. Just go ahead and tap that like button. Get us to 100 likes on the stream. And guys, we appreciate the love and support. As soon as Skaggs is done with this oil, we'll go over USD CAD and GU. And, you know, we will go ahead and get some nice setups to start the week.
Yeah, so I'm not going to take too much time on oil, guys. As you guys know, she's been giving me kind of a headache. You know, we did take a trade on her last week. It ultimately, I mean, the trade itself went very well. I kind of just ended up mismanaging it. So we did take buys, you know, somewhere in this area here, with the idea that we were targeting up into this 8220 area, right? This liquidity pocket up here. Ultimately, I do still want this 85, which is what I was looking for. For me, I just had this trade in as a buy at break even. It did come up into our first kind of like scale out zone where I should have taken 30% of my trade. I actually didn't end up taking anything though. So basically yeah, kind of was just a waste of a trade really, because I took it, it worked out great. Went right to the first TP area, but I just wasn't paying attention, wasn't really, you know, ready to book partials or anything. And by the time the market, I look back 2-3 hours later, it was already down here, and I was like, you know what, at this point, it's just going to be a wash, so it kind of broke me even. So, I mean, the only other logical place that I'd be looking to buy, I know it did open up with a gap, and still hasn't really closed that gap. I wouldn't really care about this too much, but the only other area I would be looking to play this potentially, again, for the buy, is this other area we're kind of looking at, which is down here at the 78.60. If I can get it like a 78.60 and I can kind of run my stop below here, that's going to be a potential. There is a little bit of a CB here and some like lower time frame liquidity. Again, I'm not going to go like too crazy in depth with it, but I would prefer to see if I could snag something like this. And that would be like the only other trade I would probably want to take. And then even this on the higher time frames, like I look at this and I'm like, this is probably not even really the the preferred position. Like if I was gonna trade this on the 4-hour, ideally, to be honest, I'd probably want like lower down here. So for me, again, this is not really on my watch list, or at least that high on my watch list for this week, right? I'd rather just see if this can give me, lower 77 pricing, preferably maybe after the Fed news. See if I can get this level. Will I maybe attempt here? Yeah, potentially. If it's doing some lower time frame stuff again, like Ray, kind of with the lower time frames. Once it gets down here, I'll go into those 5-minute, 3-minute, see if there's like lower, tighter risk that I could take a stab at. But other than that, like, I'm just gonna kind of stop playing with her. It's like I said, the opportunity here is not as great as some of the other setups that I'm looking at. So if I was gonna like rate this, on a 1 to 5 of like 5 being the most attractive trade and 1 being the least attractive, like this is probably sitting between the 2 and 3 range. Like, yeah, there's some plays here, but it's just not worth it. Like GJ is like a top tier potential setup if I can get what I want. So I'm not gonna distract myself by watching oil, which is just like this setup that's just not gonna particularly work for me. And same thing with like these Ethereum trades. There's just much better opportunity here. So that's why I really haven't been looking at oil. That's why I really haven't been going over it. I think you're probably better off trying to grab an entry on Ethereum than messing with oil. And again, some of you guys ask about the same things week after week after week. It's like at some point you got to realize that, some pairs just are not going to have the same opportunity as others, right? So I talk about this all the time with you guys, don't trade what you want to trade. Some people are like, I want to trade oil, so I must find an entry on oil. And it's like, no, like I love trading oil too, but sometimes she's just a temperamental piece of shit. And I'm sorry for like the language or like, the phrasing there, but like that's what it is. Sometimes she's just, just a raging piece of shit, and she's not giving you what you want. Nothing is sticking longer term, and you kind of have to just put her to the side. And that's where I've kind of put her. So yeah, when you guys keep asking her about her and like I keep like, trying not to look at her, it's because of that. Yeah, at some point you got to realize that the opportunities are just not as fruitful on that asset. So let's see if we can get like, higher to mid 70s, and then we'll re-add her to our list, and maybe she'll look a little bit more attractive. But yeah, I would focus on some of these other things more. Kyle, though, if you want to share your screen, bro, go over USD CAD, any other setups that you may have. I know you're looking at a few dollar pairs as well. And we'll wrap it up with that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get it, guys. So I'm really not sure where everybody else went over. But I will just go ahead and go over my pairs and my perception of the market. Whether any of them is conflicting or not, you guys have to understand that it's all about getting confirmations, getting markups on the stream, and taking it as your own, taking it with a grain of salt, and using this stream as education purposes. So, pretty much I am still looking at these dollar longs. We've been looking at this for a minute now, since last week. A lot of people may kind of give the argument that we will continue down. And like, that's the best thing to do, kind of just continue in the bias of, selling the dollar. You will definitely make more money following the 80-20 rule by just continuing in the market. But I'm already in, a lot of trades in the dollar long side. So I kind of just see these multiple touches in the market, kind of like trend line liquidity. And I do feel like we will get some sort of break of that sometime this week. Whether that does warrant us to break out and form full-on accumulation, we don't know yet. If this was accumulation, then this would be the spring. So at the end of the day, we would need to wait and see. We cannot, assume a schematic. We cannot assume accumulation just yet. Maybe on the lower time frames we are, and that's why I've been playing that. So, if you are in on some of these trades, or if tomorrow or Tuesday we can get something like this, I would still be taking dollar longs. Now, the chart feed that I do look at a lot is the DXY, the TVC feed, but this one has been doing me very well. The US dollar Dow Jones index, and the feed is on FXCM. And just being honest, all of these continuation plays last week were playing out. Last week on the Sunday stream, I did let you guys know we were looking for accumulation, but I did tell you guys to keep this level in mind, and we did play out of that. We came up, touched the 50% of this candle that grabbed the liquidity of traders. I posted a reel on my Instagram today talking about my order block strategy. And to be honest, guys, like this is played with my strategy 100%. The fact that this took out traders and this candle was the one that took out traders, and then we broke structure, then we returned right back to this order block. This was perfect dollar sell entries. Now the thing is with this is now that I'm seeing the fact that this structure, this low right here was not that we didn't get a breaking close underneath that. This is just simple structural rules. When we're in a downtrend, we make lower lows and higher lows. So at the end of the day, we need to break and close fully underneath to actually solidify a structural range. So this right here is a solidified structural range. So if I were to draw this out, the fact that we broke this low, this becomes our new lower high point. So technically, these longs are valid up until we start coming into this candle right here, right? This is a candle that I want you guys to pay attention to. You know, whenever I tell you guys to pay attention to certain candles, you know, we were paying attention to this candle last week on the Thursday stream, and it did play out perfectly. Sadly, I didn't catch a trade off of it because I was in these dollar longs. So at the end of the day, if you guys are taking any of these dollar longs, aka EU sells, GU sells, UCAD buys, at the end of the day, I want you guys to understand that once we do get up to this level right here, this candle region, it would be a good idea to book a partial, but still hold your trade. But I would definitely take a hedge trade in this level just due to the fact that the market could just continue with a lot of the news that we have this week. You know, we do not know the exact result of these news. So I'm playing both sides of the market. I'm in trades from down here in kind of like a buy to sell scenario. And once we do come up to this region right here, this candle, it's very appealing to me because we did take out liquidity right here. We did take out traders, and this was the candle that did so. So we're getting a nice order flow confirmation here. So once we do come up to this level here on the dollar, how this would look on this feed is probably something like this. Once we do come up to a level like that on the dollar, I won't be looking to close out these entries, right? This is where a lot of you guys go wrong. Whenever you guys see scenarios in the market where it is valid for a buy, but once we do come up to higher regions in that buy scenario, like do not be that guy that closes out your buy and then tries to sell. How I manage positions like this is once we do sweep some of this liquidity right here and we start coming up to this zone, what I'll do is I'll take a partial on my trade just to make sure that I took at least some profit out of the market. Then I would look to hedge with this entry right here. And it's pretty much very low risk. And some of the partial profit that I have from that position that I took would be that risk that I use for this sell. So once this sell goes in profit a little bit, at the end of the day, we're going to wait to see which one plays out. We might get a little bit of consolidation leading up to news, and then the market will have to decide whether this is accumulation or whether it's simply just redistribution. We just go down. So I'm playing the market kind of like a ping pong scenario where I am in some of these buy to sell scenarios. I will take a sell once we do come up to here, this little range right here. And I would look to hedge the markets this week. How that does correlate to EU, I agree with Ray's EU very, very well. I like the fact that this right here is pretty much aligning with the dollar. So, I'd like to see EU potentially fall off, and this could be a nice swing trade. But we do have to be careful once we start tapping into this level right here, this 1.08204. Once we get to 1.08204 on EU, I will be looking to take partials on some of these sells and then look to potentially buy. Now, once this goes in profit, again, do not hesitate to move your stops to break even. Same with this sell. Once we break structure, do not hesitate to move your stops to break even. And, the market could consolidate and then just drop. And it's a good thing that you guys took raise entries over here. But the market could also just consolidate and go up. We're in like a breaker bounce scenario here. Now, how that correlates to GU, shout out to you guys that are still holding GU from last week. I still am, because I've attempted these so many times that it hasn't invalidated yet. So I'm gonna let it get some breathing room. I'm gonna let this thing play out. I had called this out. Me and Ray both called this out on the Thursday stream, and it is playing out perfectly. And if you do not have an entry on this, then I would say set an alert right here. Maybe we can come up and fill some inefficiency before, or maybe during London. That's something that could happen. It doesn't have to happen, because if you guys look at the 4 hour, we just formed a little engulfing. So it does have the potential to just fall off from where it's at. So if you were to take some lower time frame stuff, I would say this right here is also valid. The fact that there was liquidity right here, this candle was the one that took out these traders that were playing that double top liquidity. What I would say is maybe if we can get something like this on GU, get you a little nice lower time frame setup. And then that's like a even lesser of a stop. That's like a 7 pip stop. These are for my guys that will risk like 0.25%, 0.5% on their trades. You guys have a lot of leverage, like I do, to take stabs in the market like this. So, I personally won't, because I'm already in it and I have my stop right above here, the 190 level. So, I'm hoping that we can just fall off from here. But even if we do come up and fill in some of this higher inefficiency, I wouldn't even be mad. I have my stop ran accordingly. So that is a possibility that we can just come up to this lower time frame candle right here and play that. And I do suggest you guys set an alert there as well. I will. It's definitely like a 7 pip stop. But I'll be lying if I didn't tell you that I was more confident in this, because I like to take the higher time frames and give them more weight than the lower time frames. Right? The higher time frames are like, I like older people, older wise men that, they hold their knowledge and their data holds more weight than just small time frames. So, at the end of the day, those are my possible scenarios on GU. I am still looking at this sell. These equal lows right here are just too juicy for me, right? Like I'm just like looking at this and I know that it's gonna get taken out at some point this week. Now, once it does get taken out, I'm gonna be taking majority off of this trade, maybe like 60, 70%. And then I'll look to see if any of these buy setups, hold some weight. But I am just kind of looking at the fact that this thing could just fall off from where it's at. So I'm not even going to give any potential long scenarios. I just like this fall off right here. I feel like these lows right here are very weak. And for me to try to buy at that, it's kind of like, damn, I'm not really interested in that at all. I would rather just hold on to my sells, but at the end of the day, EU is a lot more cleaner for the long side. GU is looking like it's gonna just melt. Like, just being honest, I am looking at this sell still. So keep that in mind. Now USD CAD, just being honest, this thing is bearish. I'm not even going to look long on it, even though dollar is something that I am looking long on. USD CAD, I have clear targets that I've mentioned to you guys for the past couple of months now. I do want to see this inefficiency right here get filled. Right, as you guys can see, price was moving very efficient in these ranges. Price was moving very efficient, but then we shot up once dollar started going bullish, and we left this inefficiency here. And I'd like for us to continue down and fill that. These equal lows are still targets for me, but it doesn't mean I would want to short right now. Just because we are long-term bearish on this thing, we have to look at the positioning that we are in the market. We filled inefficiency up here to give us that entry, but I want you guys to understand that where we're at in the market, even though we are still looking bearish on this thing, we have to keep in mind this candle right here, this daily candle. We do have to keep in mind that, and this is a liquidity pocket right here that we literally just ran. So the fact that we are digging into this candle right here and we just cleared this liquidity pocket, I would not look to short right now. I feel like we will get some early bullishness on this thing to come warrant us and fill this inefficiency that we have on the daily. Keep in mind this inefficiency on the daily. I do feel like we'll get some sort of rate of that, some sort of fill of that before we keep dropping. So look for that, right? I would look for early bullishness on UCAD to at least start the week. And I would look for this level right here. This alert right here that I have, this is a potential entry that I am looking at because, we did catch the entries here and here. Some of you guys call with me. So to be honest, like I said, look for some early bullishness to start the week. Once we kind of like do something like this, I will call out a buy, but I'm not looking to call out a buy right now. Like, I need more data. I need more confirmation. I can't even guarantee that this thing will long. All I'll say is I'm looking to short in a higher point of the market, right? Just because you know that the market's going to go up doesn't mean it's a good possible risk to reward scenario that you should be risking capital on your account on, right? A lot of you guys know, you guys know a lot of technicals. You guys know some of the stuff that you guys can use to trade, at least, whether it's support and resistance, trend lines, supply and demand, like whatever your strategy is. I can guarantee you guys that there's sometimes in the market that you guys see stuff and it plays out. But just because you guys see stuff and it plays out doesn't mean it's a good risk to reward scenario that is worth even taking or pressing the button. Because every time you press the button, guys, you guys have to understand, every time you press that buy or sell button, there is an opportunity to make money, but there's even more of a bigger risk to lose money. So you guys don't operate out of fear. Obviously, don't be scared to press the button. Never be scared to press the button when your confirmations give it to you, but don't be so antsy to press the button every single day, every single moment, right? I know USD CAD will start the week off bullish, and we will get some sort of entry back to the downside, possibly here or right here. I do prefer, like I said, I do prefer this 1.365 level, right? The 1.365 level is very attractive to me because we did take sells right here and we left this inefficiency right here. So I like this to be filled. And these highs look very weak to me. This is what is this? Right? It didn't even play off of anything kind of valid for me. So again, kind of look long to start the week. and then we can start reevaluating the shorts. I will be back on with you guys Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but start reevaluating the shorts once we get up to the 1.3465 level, or maybe even this candle right here. And again, guys, a lot of stuff that we're giving you guys, this is a market preparation call. I want you guys to be prepared for the week. Understand our perception of the markets, but understand when we guys will execute on things, we will drop the trade or some sort of announcement in the announcements tab in the premium side of the Discord. Right? If you guys are in the Discord, you know, shout out to you guys. If you guys aren't, can somebody drop the link in the chat, please? Maybe Skaggs, Abel, or Ray, just so you guys could at least get in. Obviously, you guys are gonna get into the Discord, but that doesn't mean like you'll at least have a community to at least talk to and be a part of the Profit Society. But our premium members will get our first look at our entries. Our premium members will get an announcement whenever we're looking at a potential trade idea. And our premium members will be able to have access to our sessions on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 a.m. trading live New York. So a lot of markets that we're giving you guys are stuff that we are going to execute on. But if you're somebody that you know that you operate out of fear, you know that you can't really make decisions for yourself yet in this financial market, or maybe you've been trying to make decisions for yourself trading, but it hasn't been working out, I do highly, highly recommend that you guys go ahead and join our Discord or register at profitsociety.co. See what we're about just for a week. See what's going on in the community. And if you guys want access to our live Tuesdays to Thursdays New York sessions at 8 a.m., go ahead and tap the button to upgrade to the premium. Everybody in our premium that's been making money, I want you to drop a $sign in the chat and the YouTube, just so everybody could see like how our first week was. Last week was our first week for the premium members. And if anybody that's premium in this chat has been making some money, drop a $sign in the chat. Like that's it. We don't even want like say it because you actually made money. Drop a $sign that you actually made money on some of our streams, just so you guys can see that we do really preach real results and we really give you guys the most from us. And it's 4 of us. So you guys are going to get different outlooks. So, you know, the chat speaks for itself, guys. You know, I know Jude, he's like my USD CAD twin. So I'm pretty sure he's looking at the same thing. Like, I'm not really attracted to this as much, you know, because we are just contracting. So like I said, I want to see these potential trade ideas play out on USD CAD. Like I said, I'm not really gonna give a long entry. I'm gonna give you guys my short entries because these are better risk to reward scenarios. Like Skag said, like do not be just trying, even though you know it's gonna go long, it's not giving me the risk to reward that I like, and it's gonna end up probably draining more money from my account trying to long this thing, but I'll end up making more money trying to short this thing. So that's my psychology heading into USD CAD and GU. You know, those are kind of like the only 2 things that I'm looking at this week. I'm trying to limit my pairs, and you know, 1 to 2 pairs is good enough for me. Honestly, just 1 pair. Just USD CAD could literally help me feed my family and not even have to worry about things ever again. I guess it's just a little greed or impatience that gets me hopping onto GU sometimes. I do be hopping on EU sometimes, not gonna lie, but GU has been moving way more cleaner for me, and it has been giving me these drops that I like to see, you know, especially here. Like, it's giving me everything that I like to see for distribution. So, you know, that really gives me a lot more confidence to trade GU and UCAD this week. But yeah, honestly, what I will do, guys, is I'm gonna drop the link to enroll into premium. I mean, at the end of the day, we have different packages to afford for everybody. Everybody should be able to afford this. Like, at the end of the day, if you could afford to fund up your account with $100 over and over and over and over and over again, that's been a lot of you guys the past year. In 2022, if you've been funding up your account with $100 and you've done it like at least 10 times last year, drop a 9 in the chat. If that's you, if you funded up your account last year with $100 over and over and over and over again, and you didn't withdraw anything. So instead of investing into trading, stop investing into trading. I have some students that hasn't even like watched all the curriculum, and they're like, yo, like, which account should I get next? Which prop firm should I invest into now? I'm like, yo, stop investing into prop firms, stop investing into new broker accounts, and invest into your education, invest into yourself, invest into learning this craft from professionals, real deal professionals that have been trading 5+ years. And I promise you guys will not have to keep funding up your accounts without withdrawing over and over and over again. It gets tiring. And I see some 9s in the chat, and those guys are going to be premium members. I can guarantee you that, right? So, honestly, bro, I don't know about you, Ray, but like, the GU still looks valid to me, bro. So I'm still in it from that entry that we called out. I don't know about you, bro, but I really still like this thing to continue dropping.
Oh yeah, bro. I ain't closing that unless it comes take out that wick to the left. So like I'm in at the tip top. So regardless of how much it consolidates, it ain't no reason for me at this point to close. I mean, I was up like 80 pips. Now it's up like, what, 20, something like that. So it's like, it ain't no point in closing at this point. It's either gonna knock me out or, pay me out. So I'm vibing right now as well. Just hoping that those equal lows get taken out, at least the first set. Like whether or not the second set holds up or not is debatable. But if we could take out them first set of equal lows at least, I'll definitely be more satisfied with that. But yeah, I'm right here with you, bro. I'm holding. Looking forward to seeing what we get.
Yeah. Shout out to premium members. They got that entry on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm looking at Euro USD for the night. So that's what I'll be executing on tonight. Hopefully we get paid, man. I'm looking for a big week in the markets, y'all. So let's do what we gotta do. Let's get paid.
That's a fact. We definitely got a busy week ahead of us. I mean, there were a lot of great things that we talked about on this stream, a lot of good insight to what the pairs are going to do. I think a lot of us covered, pretty much everything. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this week. We'll see you guys on the live trading sessions. I'm pretty sure that wraps everything up. We appreciate all of you. This is your boy Skag on behalf of Profit Society family. And as always, we hope you guys have a fantastic week. And we'll see you guys in the live trading.
Go Eagles.